Have you ever wondered why some people seem to thrive while others feel stuck in the same patterns year after year? What makes one person rise to their full potential while another gives up halfway? And most importantly, how can you ensure that 2025 becomes the year you finally become the best version of yourself? Let's think about this. Imagine you have a garden. If you don't take care of it, weeds grow, plants wither, and the garden loses its beauty. But when you water it, remove the weeds, and give it sunlight, it flourishes. Your life is that garden. What you do today decides if your future blooms or fades. And here's the truth. Most people keep waiting for the right time to change, but the right time never arrives. Every year feels the same because they don't realize that transformation begins now. It begins with the smallest choices, the tiniest actions. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, your space for finding inspiration and meaningful insights. If you're ready to take charge of your life and create the best version of yourself in 2025, you're in the right place. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers actually subscribe. Let's change that today. If you find value in this video, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people who need guidance on their journey. Now, to truly become your best self, you must begin with a foundation. According to Buddhist teachings, the path to self-improvement starts with clarity. You need to see where you are and where you want to go. Clarity is like turning on a light in a dark room. It helps you understand your strengths, your flaws, and what's holding you back. The Buddha once said, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." This means that the journey to your best self begins with self-acceptance. Accept who you are today while committing to growth. Many people struggle because they focus too much on their weaknesses. But Buddhism teaches us to shift our focus. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, start nurturing what's right within you. Your potential is like a seed. It needs care, patience, and the right environment to grow. Becoming your best self doesn't mean perfection. It means progress. Every small step you take towards better habits, better choices, and better thinking matters. Even if you make mistakes, those mistakes are lessons, not failures. In 2025, let your goal be progress, not perfection. Build a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. This requires mindfulness, a practice deeply rooted in Buddhism. Mindfulness helps you live in the present, make intentional choices, and stay focused on what truly matters. Remember, the key to transformation is consistency. It's not about making big changes all at once. It's about small, meaningful actions repeated every day. These actions build momentum, and that momentum leads to lasting change. So, as we begin this journey, take a moment to reflect. What do you truly want in 2025? What does your best self look like? The answers to these questions will guide you as we continue exploring the path to becoming your best self. This is just the beginning. Stay with us, because what comes next will help you uncover powerful insights to transform your life step by step. The power of self-awareness, knowing yourself. To understand the path to your best self, you must first know where you stand. If you do not know where you are, how can you know where to go? Self-awareness is the first step toward transformation. It is the ability to look deeply into your own mind and heart, to see your strengths and your weaknesses, your patterns, and your potential. Without self-awareness, you may wander through life without direction, unaware of what is helping you or what is holding you back. Imagine you are walking in a forest without a map. You might find your way to some places, but you will also get lost many times. However, if you had a map, you would know where you are and where to go. Self-awareness is your map. It shows you where you are right now, in this moment, and gives you a clear direction for the future. Buddha taught us the importance of knowing ourselves. He encouraged us to look inward, to examine our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions without judgment. In Buddhism, this practice is called vipassana, or insight meditation. It is the act of observing your mind and its habits, not to criticize them but to understand them. When you observe your thoughts, you begin to see the patterns that shape your life. These patterns, both good and bad, have been built over time. And once you see them clearly, you have the power to change them. Self-awareness is not about being perfect. It is about being honest with yourself. It is about seeing yourself as you truly are, without the layers of illusion or denial that often cloud our minds. The more you understand yourself, the more you will be able to see what needs to change. Without this understanding, change is difficult because you don't even know what needs changing. Take a moment right now to reflect on your life. What do you see? Are you happy with where you are, or do you feel stuck? Is there a pattern of behavior that keeps repeating itself, causing you pain? These are the first steps toward greater self-awareness, asking the difficult questions and being open to the answers. The practice of self-awareness is not a one-time event. It is a daily commitment to looking inward. Every time you meditate, every time you reflect on your actions, you are building your self-awareness. Over time, you will begin to notice the subtle ways your thoughts and emotions influence your actions. You will become aware of your triggers, those moments when fear, anger, or desire take over your mind. And when you notice these things, you can choose to respond differently. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called the Four Noble Truths, which is essentially a map for understanding human suffering. The first truth is that life is full of suffering. This is not a pessimistic view, but a realistic one. We all experience pain, loss, and disappointment. The second truth is that this suffering comes from attachment, our desires, our expectations, and our refusal to accept things as they are. The third truth is that there is a way out of suffering, and that path lies in understanding the nature of our minds and actions. The fourth truth is the path itself, which is the Eightfold Path, a series of principles for living mindfully and wisely. To apply these teachings, you must first understand the nature of your attachments. What are you holding on to that causes you pain? What do you desire that brings you suffering? These are the questions that will arise when you begin to practice self-awareness. It may not be easy to confront these truths, but it is essential if you want to grow. Self-awareness allows you to break free from your automatic reactions and to choose how you respond to the world. It gives you the power to change, to choose actions that align with your true values and goals. It helps you see what is important and what is not, what will bring you peace and what will bring you more suffering. Take the example of a person who struggles with anger. Perhaps they become angry when things do not go as planned, or when others behave in ways they do not like. If this person is not self-aware, they might lash out without thinking, saying things they regret later. But if they practice self-awareness, they can begin to recognize the signs of anger before it takes over. They can feel the tension rising in their body, the thoughts that fuel their frustration, and in that moment, they can choose to pause. They can take a deep breath, acknowledge their anger, and decide not to react in a harmful way. This is the power of self-awareness. It gives you the space between stimulus and response, allowing you to act with wisdom and clarity. Another example might be a person who constantly seeks approval from others. They may find themselves pleasing people, saying yes when they want to say no, or putting others' needs above their own. If they are not self-aware, they may continue to live their lives trying to meet others' expectations, feeling unfulfilled and resentful. But with self-awareness, they begin to see the patterns in their behavior. They begin to understand why they feel the need to please others, and they realize that their worth is not dependent on external approval. With this awareness, they can choose to set boundaries, to prioritize their own needs, and to live authentically. Self-awareness is also key in understanding your values and your purpose. Without a clear understanding of what matters most to you, it is easy to become distracted by the noise of the world. But when you know what you truly value, you can make decisions that align with your deepest beliefs. If your value is kindness, for example, you will choose to act kindly, even when it is difficult. If your value is health, you will make choices that nourish your body and mind. Buddha taught that the root of all suffering is ignorance, the ignorance of our true nature and the nature of the world. When we live in ignorance, we are like a person walking in the dark, stumbling over obstacles without knowing why. But when we develop self-awareness, we begin to see the world as it truly is, and in that clarity, we find freedom. One of the most powerful tools for cultivating self-awareness is meditation. Meditation is the practice of sitting quietly, observing your thoughts, and allowing them to come and go without attachment. It is a way to train your mind to be present and aware of what is happening within you. Through meditation, you begin to notice the subtle movements of your mind, how thoughts arise, how emotions arise, and how they pass away. You realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This insight is liberating because it helps you detach from the patterns of thinking that have controlled your life up until now. You do not need to meditate for hours a day to gain the benefits of self-awareness. Even just a few minutes each day can make a difference. The key is consistency. Just as a muscle grows stronger with regular exercise, your ability to be self-aware grows stronger with regular practice. In this journey of self-awareness, there is no finish line. It is not something you accomplish once and then forget about. It is a lifelong practice, one that deepens and unfolds over time. The more you practice self-awareness, the more you will uncover about yourself. And the more you uncover, the more you will grow. Through self-awareness, you begin to live more consciously. You make decisions with intention rather than reacting automatically. You break free from the patterns that have held you back, and you step into the life you truly want. You start to align your actions with your values, and in doing so, you move closer to becoming your best self. The role of discipline, building the right habits. In the pursuit of becoming your best self, there is one quality that cannot be ignored: discipline. It is the quiet force that shapes our days and determines our progress. Without discipline, we remain scattered, distracted, and often lost in the noise of everyday life. But with discipline, we build the foundation for a life filled with purpose and achievement. Imagine you are a potter, shaping a beautiful clay bowl. Each day, you work gently but steadily, adding pressure here, smoothing out bumps there. You may not see drastic changes every moment, but with each small adjustment, the shape becomes clearer. Discipline is like that. It may seem slow at first, but over time, it forms your character and your future. Buddhism teaches us the value of mindfulness in every action. When we are mindful, we focus our energy on the present moment. This focus is the essence of discipline. It means not getting distracted by every passing thought or temptation, but staying grounded in the task at hand. Imagine the stillness of a calm pond. The water reflects perfectly because there is no disturbance. When you are disciplined, your mind becomes like that still pond, reflecting the clarity of your intentions. You might ask, how do I build discipline in my life? How do I stick to good habits even when it feels difficult? The answer lies in understanding the nature of habit itself. Habits are like seeds. What you plant in your life today will grow into your future. If you want to grow strength, kindness, and focus, you must plant those seeds with conscious effort. Start with small, simple habits. The mistake many people make is trying to change everything at once. They overwhelm themselves with grand plans that they cannot sustain. Instead, focus on one thing at a time. Perhaps it is waking up 15 minutes earlier to meditate. Maybe it's committing to a short walk each morning. These small habits build momentum. Buddhism teaches that the path to self-improvement is about balance. Too much effort in one area can lead to burnout, while too little can result in stagnation. Discipline requires balance. It is not about being harsh with yourself, but being steady and patient. A disciplined person does not push themselves to exhaustion. They know when to pause, when to rest, and when to continue. To build discipline, it is essential to make your goals clear and actionable. Write them down, but do not make them too complex. Keep them simple, achievable, and focused on your values. A goal should align with the person you wish to become. If your goal is to meditate daily, ask yourself why. Perhaps it is for inner peace, mental clarity, or emotional balance. Connect your habits to deeper meanings. They will guide you when times get tough. One powerful Buddhist practice is the cultivation of sila, which refers to ethical conduct and discipline. In simple terms, sila means aligning your actions with your values. When your actions reflect your deepest truths, discipline becomes effortless. It no longer feels like a burden, but a natural expression of who you are. The key to discipline is to see it not as a form of restriction, but as a tool for freedom. When you discipline yourself, you free yourself from the distractions and habits that keep you from your true path. You are no longer a prisoner to impulsive desires or fleeting pleasures. Instead, you are the master of your choices. You decide what to focus on, and each disciplined action brings you closer to your best self. In the process of building discipline, you will encounter obstacles. It is inevitable. Perhaps you will miss a day of meditation or skip a workout. You might find it hard to stay focused when distractions arise. But remember, discipline is not about perfection. It is about consistency. If you miss a day, simply return to your practice the next. This is the true nature of discipline, not in being flawless, but in your ability to begin again with each new day. One helpful way to strengthen discipline is through accountability. Find someone to share your goals with, a friend, a mentor, or even a journal. When you hold yourself accountable, you are more likely to stay on track. Share your progress, acknowledge your setbacks, and celebrate your achievements. Accountability strengthens your resolve and creates a community of support. Another way to build discipline is through repetition. Buddhism teaches that through repetition, we can train our minds and bodies. Just as the potter shapes the clay little by little, you shape yourself with each disciplined action. Over time, the small habits compound, leading to significant transformation. Remember that discipline is not about rigidity. It is about flexibility within structure. Life is unpredictable, and there will be moments when you need to adapt. Maybe you miss a meditation session because you are traveling or too busy. Do not see this as failure. Instead, see it as an opportunity to practice discipline in a new context. How can you stay committed, even when life does not go according to plan? One important aspect of discipline is knowing when to rest. Rest is not a weakness. It is a necessary part of the process. Just as a plant needs sunlight and water, it also needs time to grow in the dark. Similarly, your body and mind need rest to regenerate and stay strong. The discipline of rest is just as vital as the discipline of action. Discipline also requires self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when things go wrong. Buddhism teaches that suffering is a part of life, but it is through our response to suffering that we grow. If you struggle with your habits, approach yourself with patience. Do not judge yourself harshly. Instead, gently return to the practice of self-discipline, knowing that each effort is a step forward, no matter how small. Through the practice of discipline, you will build a life that reflects your deepest values. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. Eventually, you will not need to think about it. Discipline will simply be a part of who you are. It will be as natural as breathing, and your actions will flow from your intentions with ease. So, take a deep breath and begin today. Identify one small habit you want to build. It could be something as simple as journaling for 5 minutes each morning, or taking time to reflect before you sleep. Commit to this habit for the next 30 days. Notice how it feels, how your mind begins to change, how your actions shift. Discipline is a seed, and with patience, it will grow into a beautiful tree that supports the life you want to live. Through discipline, you will not only build better habits but a better life. You will become the person you were always meant to be, a person who lives with purpose, intention, and clarity. Discipline is the key that unlocks your potential and leads you to your best self. So take the first step today, and let the journey of discipline guide you toward a brighter tomorrow. Mindfulness and its transformative magic. In the stillness of a quiet morning, when the world around us is calm, there is a moment to breathe deeply, to pause, to truly be. In that moment, everything is clear. There are no distractions, no worries, no rush, just the present, just now. This is the essence of mindfulness. It is not something you learn once and forget. It is something you live. Mindfulness is not a task or a goal. It is a way of being. But how can we be mindful in the chaos of daily life, when our thoughts race from one thing to the next? How do we stay present when the world demands so much of us, when distractions are endless and our minds are constantly pulled in many directions? The answer lies not in trying to escape life's challenges, but in embracing them with full awareness. Buddha taught that the root of suffering is attachment and ignorance. But through mindfulness, we can learn to break these chains. We are not our thoughts, and we are not our feelings. These things come and go like waves in the ocean, but the true nature of who we are is calm and unshaken beneath it all. Mindfulness teaches us to observe without judgment, to simply watch the waves without being carried away by them. Consider a busy day, full of tasks, meetings, and distractions. Now imagine going through this day with complete presence, with every step, every breath, every action fully lived. When we are mindful, we stop reacting on autopilot. We stop rushing through the moments, trying to get to the next thing, and we begin to experience life deeply. We don't wait for the right moment to enjoy life. We see it in every moment, no matter how simple or ordinary. In Buddhism, mindfulness is called sati. It is the practice of keeping the mind aware and clear in each moment. It is the practice of awareness, attention, and focus. By bringing our full attention to whatever we are doing, whether it is washing dishes, walking, or talking with a friend, we transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. We see the beauty of life in its smallest details. Mindfulness also helps us cultivate a sense of compassion. When we are present with ourselves, we become more present with others. We see them clearly, without the filters of judgment or distraction. We begin to notice their pain, their joy, and their needs. And in doing so, we become better listeners, better friends, and more compassionate human beings. The Buddha taught that true compassion is born from understanding, and understanding comes from mindfulness. The beauty of mindfulness is that it is available to us at all times. It is not something we need to seek outside of ourselves. We don't have to wait for the right time or place to practice it. We can practice mindfulness in every moment, whether we are sitting in silence, walking to the store, or simply waiting in line. Every moment is an opportunity to practice being present, to return to the now. The more we practice, the more naturally mindfulness flows into our lives. Let's think for a moment about how mindfulness can change the way we respond to challenges. When life becomes overwhelming, our instinct may be to resist, to push back, or to escape. We may feel anxious, frustrated, or helpless. But when we are mindful, we can step back from these emotions and observe them without attachment. We notice the tension, but we don't let it control us. We feel the fear, but we don't allow it to stop us. Mindfulness allows us to experience difficult emotions without being swept away by them. For example, imagine you are in a stressful situation at work. Perhaps there is a tight deadline or a difficult conversation ahead. Mindfulness doesn't make the stress disappear, but it helps you navigate it with clarity. Instead of letting your mind race ahead, full of worries and what-ifs, you bring your attention to the present moment. You focus on your breathing, on the sensations in your body, on the task at hand. This doesn't mean the challenge goes away, but it means you approach it with calmness and perspective. You are not controlled by the stress. You are in control of how you respond to it. Mindfulness also allows us to let go of the past and the future. We are often trapped in memories of the past or anxiously anticipating what is to come. But both the past and the future are out of our control. The only thing we truly have is the present. By practicing mindfulness, we release the grip of time. We stop dwelling on what has already happened or worrying about what might happen. We simply live in the now, appreciating the life we have right before us. This is not to say that mindfulness is always easy. Our minds are naturally restless and often pull us away from the present. We might find ourselves distracted by thoughts, regrets, or dreams. But mindfulness is about gently returning to the present moment, again and again. Every time we notice that our mind has wandered, we bring it back with kindness and patience. We don't judge ourselves for getting lost in thought. We simply return to the moment with openness. When we practice mindfulness regularly, we begin to notice its effects on our lives. We start to feel more at peace, less reactive, and more connected to others. We become more aware of our own needs, our own feelings, and our own patterns. This awareness allows us to make better choices, to break old habits, and to cultivate new, healthier ones. But perhaps the most transformative aspect of mindfulness is that it helps us see things as they truly are. We begin to see the impermanence of everything. We realize that nothing lasts forever, neither our joys nor our sorrows. This awareness brings us a sense of peace, because we understand that everything is temporary. When life is difficult, we know it won't last. And when life is beautiful, we know to cherish it while it does. Mindfulness also teaches us non-attachment. We stop clinging to things, people, or outcomes, because we understand that everything changes. This doesn't mean we stop caring or loving. Rather, we stop trying to control everything. We learn to let go of our need for certainty and embrace the flow of life, trusting that whatever comes will be for our growth. To practice mindfulness, we need only to pay attention. We start with small moments, taking a deep breath when we wake up, noticing the sensation of water as we wash our hands, listening deeply when someone speaks to us. Over time, these small moments add up, and we find ourselves living more fully, more intentionally, and with greater peace. The beauty of mindfulness is that it is available to everyone. You don't need to be a Buddhist, you don't need to be an expert, and you don't need any special tools or equipment. All you need is the willingness to be present, to open your heart and mind to the present moment. And in doing so, you open yourself to the possibility of transformation. Remember, mindfulness is not a destination. It is a journey. It is a practice that evolves, grows, and deepens over time. Each moment is an opportunity to begin again. So, take a deep breath. Let go of any distractions, and come back to the present moment, to the simplicity of being here, now. Through mindfulness, you will begin to see the world and yourself with new eyes. Overcoming doubts, cultivating inner confidence. In this life, doubt often appears like a shadow that looms over us. It whispers that we are not good enough, that we will never succeed, and that our dreams are just fantasies. These whispers can be so persistent, so convincing, that they seem impossible to ignore. But the truth is, doubt is not who we are. It is a temporary cloud that passes by, a fleeting thought that does not define us. If you wish to become your best self, you must learn to let go of these doubts and build a foundation of confidence that cannot be shaken. The Buddha teaches us that we are already whole, that we possess all the wisdom and strength we need within ourselves. Doubt, therefore, is an illusion. It is the mind's way of distracting us from our true nature, from the vast potential that lies within. When you begin to understand this, you can start to untangle the web of doubt that keeps you stuck. Think of a seed that is planted in the ground. At first, it's just a small, fragile thing, unsure of what it will become. But with the right care and nourishment, it begins to grow. It doesn't doubt its potential. It doesn't question if it will ever reach the sky. It simply trusts that, in time, it will bloom. You are that seed. You are already capable of amazing things. Trust in your own potential. The first step in overcoming doubt is to recognize it for what it is, a thought. Just a thought. And thoughts are not facts. They are fleeting, like clouds in the sky. When you notice doubt creeping in, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Observe the thought without judging it. Ah, doubt. You can say to yourself, I see you, but I do not need to listen to you. When you observe your doubts with awareness, they lose their power. You start to see them for what they truly are, nothing more than passing moments in the mind. They do not control you. You are not your doubts. Now, let's talk about how to build true inner confidence. Confidence is not something that comes from external praise or approval. It's not about how others see you. True confidence comes from understanding your own worth, from embracing your unique qualities, and from accepting yourself fully, just as you are. The Buddha said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This means that confidence begins with self-love. If you cannot love and accept yourself, how can you expect others to do so? If you cannot trust yourself, how can you trust your abilities? So, practice self-compassion. When you make mistakes, be gentle with yourself. Understand that mistakes are part of the journey, not the end of the road. Every mistake you make is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. Another important aspect of building confidence is to set small, achievable goals. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you look at the big picture, but when you break your goals down into smaller, manageable steps, you can focus on one thing at a time. This makes the journey less intimidating and allows you to celebrate small victories along the way. Each time you accomplish a goal, no matter how small, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can follow through, and that you are worthy of success. These small wins add up, and before you know it, you'll have built a solid foundation of confidence that cannot be shaken. But remember, confidence is not about being perfect. It's not about always being right or never making mistakes. True confidence comes from accepting that you are a work in progress, that you are constantly learning and evolving. You do not have to have all the answers. You do not have to be flawless. You only have to be willing to keep moving forward, step by step. In Buddhist philosophy, the practice of mindfulness can help you cultivate this kind of confidence. When you are mindful, you are fully present in the moment, without judgment or attachment. This allows you to see yourself clearly, without the distortions of doubt or fear. You begin to trust your intuition, to trust your abilities, and to trust the process of life itself. One powerful practice for overcoming doubt is to meditate. Meditation helps quiet the mind, allowing you to observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. When you meditate regularly, you become less reactive to your doubts and fears. You begin to see them for what they are, temporary and inconsequential. You learn to anchor yourself in the present moment, where you are grounded and strong. Another way to build confidence is through affirmations. These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself, reinforcing your belief in your abilities. For example, you can say, "I am capable. I trust myself. I am worthy of success." Saying these affirmations daily helps shift your mindset from doubt to confidence. Over time, you begin to believe these statements as truth. Surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you. Their encouragement can help reinforce your own self-belief. When you have a strong support system, it's easier to trust yourself and your abilities. And when you stumble, they can help remind you of your strengths and potential. Remember, confidence is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, patience, and practice. But if you keep showing up for yourself, if you keep taking small steps forward, you will eventually reach a place where doubt no longer holds power over you. So, next time doubt whispers in your ear, remember this: you are not your doubts. You are a powerful, capable being, deserving of love, success, and happiness. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and keep moving forward. Your best self is waiting for you, and it's time to let go of the doubt that stands in the way. The art of letting go, freeing yourself from attachments. In life, we often find ourselves holding on, clinging to things, people, expectations, and even our own thoughts. But have you ever wondered what happens when you let go? It's as if a burden is lifted, the air feels clearer, and you begin to move more freely. But why is it so difficult to let go? Why do we hold on so tightly to things that no longer serve us? The Buddha taught that suffering arises from attachment. Attachment is like holding on to a burning coal, thinking it will bring you warmth, only to burn yourself instead. We hold on to things out of fear of losing them, fear of change, fear of uncertainty. But the truth is, by holding on too tightly, we create unnecessary pain and prevent ourselves from growing. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning the things we love or value. It means releasing our grip on the idea that we must control them. It means accepting that life is ever-changing and nothing is permanent. The moment you learn to let go, you are no longer bound by the weight of attachment. You become free to experience life as it is, without the constant fear of loss or the pressure to hold on. To understand the art of letting go, we must first understand attachment itself. Attachment comes in many forms: attachments to people, possessions, outcomes, and even our own beliefs. Each attachment creates a sense of dependency, making us feel as if we cannot live without them. But the Buddha teaches us that true happiness lies in freedom, not dependency. When we let go, we are no longer defined by external circumstances or the expectations of others. We simply are. One way to practice letting go is by observing our attachments. Look closely at what you are holding on to in your life. Is it a relationship that no longer serves you? A job that drains your energy? An old grudge that weighs heavy on your heart? Recognizing these attachments is the first step toward freeing yourself from them. It's important to remember that letting go doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's like peeling away layers of an onion. Each layer represents an attachment, and as you peel away each one, you move closer to your true, unburdened self. It may be uncomfortable at first, but with each step, you'll find more peace. One of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing. People, situations, and emotions. Nothing stays the same forever. This realization helps us let go. If everything is constantly changing, why should we hold on to anything? The more we accept this truth, the more easily we can release our attachments and embrace the flow of life. Letting go also means letting go of our expectations. We often attach ourselves to certain outcomes, thinking that they will bring us happiness. But the truth is, expectations often lead to disappointment. When we let go of the need for a specific outcome, we open ourselves to unexpected joys and possibilities. We free ourselves from the chains of our desires and allow life to unfold naturally. To practice letting go, start by becoming more aware of your thoughts and emotions. Notice when you feel a sense of attachment. Are you holding on to a past regret or a future worry? Are you clinging to a belief or a person who is no longer aligned with your path? By simply observing these attachments without judgment, you create the space needed to release them. One of the most powerful ways to let go is through meditation. Meditation allows us to quiet the mind and observe our thoughts without becoming attached to them. When we meditate, we learn to let go of the constant chatter in our minds, the worries, the fears, the desires. We learn to simply be present in the moment, free from the weight of attachment. In meditation, you might notice that thoughts arise, thoughts about the past, thoughts about the future, thoughts about who you are. But rather than holding on to these thoughts, simply acknowledge them and let them pass. Just like clouds in the sky, thoughts come and go. You don't need to hold on to them. Letting go in meditation is a reminder that we are not our thoughts. We are the space in which they arise. Another practice to help with letting go is forgiveness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or regret only keeps us trapped in the past. When we forgive, we release ourselves from the grip of these emotions. Forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior of others. It's about freeing ourselves from the burden of carrying that pain. It's about saying, I choose peace over suffering. Forgiveness is also a form of self-compassion. When we forgive, we allow ourselves to heal. We stop carrying the heavy weight of resentment and make room for love and kindness. This is not an easy practice, but it is one of the most powerful ways to let go and move forward. Letting go is also about letting go of our need for control. We often try to control everything, our relationships, our career, our health, but the truth is, we cannot control everything. Life is unpredictable. The more we try to control, the more frustrated we become. When we let go of the need to control, we open ourselves to the flow of life. We trust that things will unfold as they are meant to, and we become more at peace with the present moment. One of the most beautiful things about letting go is that it creates space for new things to enter your life. When you release what no longer serves you, you make room for new opportunities, new experiences, and new people. The universe has a way of filling the space you create with things that align with your highest good. As you practice letting go, remember that it's a journey, not a destination. You don't have to let go of everything at once. Start with small attachments and gradually work your way toward bigger ones. Each step you take is a step toward freedom. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about surrendering to the flow of life. It's about trusting that everything will unfold as it should. It's about finding peace in the present moment, rather than in the past or the future. In the end, letting go is one of the most powerful ways to transform your life. When you release your attachments, you free yourself from the suffering they cause. You create space for peace, joy, and love to enter your life. You become open to the beauty of life as it is, without needing to change it or control it. So today, take a moment to reflect on what you are holding on to. What attachments are weighing you down? What beliefs or fears are keeping you stuck? With each breath, let go. Trust that by releasing these attachments, you are creating space for something better to come. Let go and experience the freedom that comes with it. Embracing compassion, the key to inner and outer growth. In the stillness of a peaceful mind, there is a simple truth. We are all connected. When you feel compassion for others, you are not just helping them. You are helping yourself. Compassion, in its purest form, is not an action but a state of being. It is the energy that flows naturally when we let go of our attachments to self-centeredness and open our hearts to the suffering of others. Imagine a river. It does not stop to ask, who needs water? It flows endlessly, nourishing everything it touches. Compassion is like that river. It flows from a heart that is not concerned with what's in it for me, but rather with how can I ease suffering? When you begin to practice compassion, you tap into this endless source of energy that benefits not only others but also yourself. Buddhism teaches us that all beings want the same things: happiness and the end of suffering. This is the universal truth. When we realize that others are not so different from ourselves, we can begin to understand their pain, their joy, and their struggles. This is the foundation of compassion, recognizing that the world is not them and us, but a unified whole. One simple way to begin practicing compassion is through mindfulness. When you are truly present with someone, you can listen with your heart. You can understand their pain without needing to fix it. This simple act of listening, with no judgment or agenda, opens the door to deep compassion. In those moments, you are not just hearing their words, you are connecting to their soul. Compassion does not require grand gestures. It can be as simple as offering a smile to a stranger, listening to a friend who is struggling, or helping someone in need without expecting anything in return. These small acts build the foundation of a compassionate heart. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Compassion becomes a part of your being, a force that flows through your every action. However, there is something even more important than offering compassion to others. You must first offer compassion to yourself. We often forget this in the pursuit of helping others. We neglect our own needs and think that by giving all of ourselves away, we are being selfless. But true compassion begins within. If you are hard on yourself, constantly criticizing and judging, how can you offer genuine compassion to others? The Buddha spoke about loving kindness toward oneself as a key to peace. Without it, there is no foundation for genuine compassion. You cannot pour from an empty cup. It is only when you learn to love and care for yourself that you can extend that love and care to others. This is not selfishness, it is wisdom. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism is the practice of loving-kindness meditation, or metta. In this practice, we begin by wishing ourselves well. We say to ourselves, "May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I live with ease." From this place of self-compassion, we then expand our well wishes to others, starting with loved ones and eventually to all beings. The more we do this, the more our hearts open to others. In embracing compassion, you begin to let go of anger, resentment, and the need for revenge. These emotions keep you bound to suffering. Compassion, however, frees you from these chains. When you wish for others to be happy, even those who have hurt you, you release the weight of grudges and open your heart to peace. You may wonder, how can I feel compassion for someone who has wronged me? It is a difficult question, but one that holds the key to your freedom. Compassion is not about excusing harmful behavior. It is about seeing the person as more than their actions. It is recognizing that they, too, are suffering in some way. When you see the suffering in others, it becomes easier to feel empathy instead of anger. Compassion does not mean that you allow people to harm you, nor does it mean that you condone harmful actions. It simply means that you understand the root of their pain. You see them not as a bad person, but as a person who is lost in their own suffering. In this recognition, you create the space for healing, not just for them, but for yourself as well. When you open your heart to others, you also begin to see the interconnectedness of all beings. The pain of one is the pain of all. The joy of one is the joy of all. You begin to see the world not as a collection of separate entities, but as an intricate web of life, where each thread is connected to every other thread. In this way, compassion is not just an emotion. It is a way of seeing the world. It transforms the way you interact with others, the way you view yourself, and the way you respond to life's challenges. The more you practice compassion, the more your world shifts. You begin to see the beauty in others, even in their imperfections. You begin to understand that everyone is doing the best they can with what they know. As you deepen your practice of compassion, you may find that you no longer feel the need to judge or criticize others. Instead, you will feel a deep sense of understanding and kindness toward them. Even when someone is unkind or hurtful, you will be able to respond with compassion, not anger. This is the transformative power of compassion. It changes not only the way you see others, but also the way you see yourself. One of the most beautiful things about compassion is that it is contagious. When you practice compassion, others are inspired to do the same. A simple act of kindness can ripple out and touch the lives of many. This is how change happens in the world, one compassionate act at a time. But remember, compassion is not always easy. There will be times when you feel frustrated, angry, or overwhelmed. In those moments, it is important to pause and breathe. Center yourself, and remember that compassion begins with self-care. You cannot give what you do not have. Take time to nurture your own well-being, and from that place of peace, offer compassion to others. Compassion is not something you do. It is something you become. It is a way of living. When you embody compassion, it flows through you naturally, like a river that never stops. In this way, compassion becomes the key to your own growth. It opens your heart, softens your mind, and guides you toward the truth of who you really are. The more you practice compassion, the more you realize that it is not just a spiritual practice, it is a practical one. It helps you build stronger relationships, connect more deeply with others, and create a sense of peace within yourself. Compassion is the foundation of a fulfilling and meaningful life. In the end, the key to becoming your best self is not found in achievement or success, but in your ability to love, both yourself and others. The more you embrace compassion, the more your world transforms. You will become a beacon of light in a world that often feels dark, and in doing so, you will find that the greatest gift you can give is the gift of your loving presence. The balance between ambition and contentment. Ambition is a powerful force. It drives us to seek more, to grow, to challenge ourselves, and to improve. But without the right balance, ambition can become a source of suffering. It can pull us in many directions, leaving us feeling restless, unsatisfied, and disconnected from the present moment. Contentment, on the other hand, is the peace that comes from within, the calmness that arises when we accept where we are and who we are. In this part, we explore how to balance ambition and contentment, creating a life where both can coexist and bring us true happiness. Imagine a river flowing smoothly towards the sea. The river is like ambition. It has a clear direction, a goal to reach, and it moves forward with energy. But what if the river were to overflow, rushing too fast, creating chaos and destruction along the way? This is what happens when ambition becomes unchecked. It becomes a force that pushes us beyond our limits, making us forget the value of peace and contentment in our journey. Now picture that same river, but this time, it flows steadily and calmly. It moves forward, but it also enjoys the journey, taking in the beauty of its surroundings, feeling the gentle rhythm of the current. This is the balance we must seek, ambition with contentment. We must move forward in life with purpose, but also take moments to stop and appreciate where we are right now. The Buddha often spoke about the middle path, the way of balance. Too much of anything can lead to suffering. When we are too focused on ambition, we forget to appreciate what we have. But when we are too focused on contentment, we may become complacent, never pushing ourselves to grow or improve. The middle path teaches us to live with a sense of purpose, striving for something better, but also accepting that everything has its own time and place. Ambition is not wrong. It is not something to be feared. It is the spark that drives us to create, to build, to help others, and to leave a mark on the world. But without contentment, ambition can become a heavy burden. We may find ourselves constantly chasing the next achievement, the next milestone, only to feel emptier once we reach it. This is because we have not learned to appreciate the journey, to find peace in the present moment. Contentment, on the other hand, is the foundation of happiness. It allows us to feel at peace with who we are and where we are. It is not about settling for less or giving up on our dreams. Contentment is about accepting the present moment as it is, without judgment, and knowing that we are enough. When we are content, we are free from the constant need for more, and we can enjoy life as it unfolds. So, how do we balance ambition and contentment? First, we must recognize that both are necessary for a fulfilling life. Ambition gives us direction, purpose, and the desire to grow. Contentment gives us peace, gratitude, and the ability to enjoy the fruits of our labor. The key is to find a rhythm between the two, where ambition drives us forward, but contentment keeps us grounded. A simple practice can help us cultivate this balance. Every day, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I striving for something that truly aligns with my values? Am I pushing myself too hard, or am I allowing myself to enjoy the process? By being mindful of your goals and your journey, you can stay connected to both your ambitions and your inner peace. Another way to find balance is to set realistic goals. Ambition often becomes overwhelming when we set goals that are too large or too distant. We must remember that small steps lead to big changes. Instead of focusing solely on the end result, focus on the present moment, on the actions you can take today to move closer to your goals. Celebrate the small victories along the way, for they are just as important as the big ones. Contentment also teaches us the value of letting go. Sometimes, we hold on to our ambitions so tightly that they become a source of stress and frustration. We believe that we must achieve something in a certain way or by a certain time, but life does not always follow our plans. When we let go of rigid expectations and embrace the flow of life, we allow ourselves to experience more peace. We learn that our worth is not defined by our accomplishments, but by who we are in this moment. In Buddhism, there is a teaching called non-attachment. It means not being attached to the outcomes of our efforts. This does not mean we stop trying or stop striving for our goals. It means we let go of the need to control every aspect of the journey. We do our best, but we accept that things may not always go as planned. Non-attachment allows us to enjoy life without the constant anxiety of needing to achieve something or prove something. In the practice of mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts and emotions without judgment. When we feel restless or dissatisfied, we can observe those feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Instead of letting our ambitions drive us to anxiety, we can pause and check in with ourselves. Are we seeking external validation? Are we trying to prove something to others? Are we forgetting to appreciate the present moment? Mindfulness helps us stay balanced, so we can move forward with purpose without losing sight of the peace that is always available to us. Ambition and contentment are not opposites. They are two sides of the same coin. Ambition without contentment leads to frustration and burnout. Contentment without ambition leads to stagnation. The balance between the two is where we find true fulfillment. It is the place where we can dream big, work hard, and still find joy in the process. As we move forward in life, remember that you don't have to choose between ambition and contentment. You can have both. You can be driven by your goals while still appreciating the beauty of the journey. The key is to stay present, to find peace in each step you take, and to trust that everything will unfold in its own time. In 2025, let your ambition fuel your growth, but let your contentment be the foundation of your happiness. With this balance, you will find that not only do you achieve your goals, but you also enjoy the process of becoming your best self. Sustaining growth. How to stay aligned with your path. The journey to becoming your best self is not a sprint. It is a lifelong walk. Many people begin with excitement, full of energy and ideas, but somewhere along the way, the spark fades. The question then becomes, how do you sustain your growth? How do you stay aligned with your path even when the road gets tough? Imagine a river flowing toward the ocean. At first, the water is clear, and the path is wide, but as it moves, obstacles appear. Rocks, fallen branches, and dirt try to block the flow. But the river does not stop. It finds its way around, over, and through the obstacles. Over time, it learns to navigate its course, slowly and steadily. In the same way, your path to becoming your best self will not always be easy. You will face challenges, distractions, and doubts, but you can choose how you respond. Just as the river adapts to the terrain, you must adapt to the challenges in your life. This is the key to sustaining growth, your ability to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. The Buddha taught that the mind is like a wild horse, often racing in many directions. It is easy for our thoughts to scatter and for distractions to pull us away from what truly matters. The mind's tendency to wander is natural, but it is also something we can learn to manage. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing our attention back to the present moment over and over again. One way to stay aligned with your path is to create a daily practice of mindfulness. This practice does not need to be complex or time-consuming. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths in the morning, setting an intention for the day, and bringing yourself back to that intention whenever your mind starts to wander. Sustaining growth also requires self-discipline. This does not mean harsh punishment or rigidity, but a gentle but firm commitment to your path. Self-discipline is like tending to a garden. You do not have to force the plants to grow, but you do need to water them regularly, remove the weeds, and ensure they get enough sunlight. The same is true for your growth. It does not happen automatically. It requires consistent effort, day in and day out. Even on days when you feel tired, or when distractions seem overwhelming, it is important to stay true to your path. One powerful practice to help sustain your growth is setting small, achievable goals. These goals should be aligned with your larger vision, but they should be manageable. Break down your bigger aspirations into smaller tasks and focus on completing them one by one. Celebrate each small victory because every step forward counts. Another aspect of sustaining growth is learning to let go of perfection. Many people give up on their journey because they feel they are not achieving perfection. But perfection is not the goal. Growth is. Every mistake, every setback is a lesson. Instead of feeling defeated by failure, embrace it as part of the process. In Buddhism, there is a concept known as right effort. This means putting forth energy in the right direction, without overexertion or laziness. It is about finding a balance where you are putting in consistent effort but not burning yourself out. This balance is crucial for long-term growth. Sometimes, it can feel as though the world is moving too fast. It can be easy to get swept up in the rush of daily life, constantly trying to keep up with others or meet external expectations. But the path to becoming your best self is not about comparing yourself to anyone else. It is about being true to yourself and focusing on your own journey. A helpful practice in this regard is to regularly check in with yourself. Ask yourself, am I staying true to my path? Am I making choices that align with my values and my vision? These simple questions can help you stay grounded and refocus when you start to stray off course. One of the most important things to remember when sustaining growth is the need for patience. Change takes time, and it does not happen overnight. But the efforts you make today, no matter how small, will compound over time. Keep moving forward, even if you don't see immediate results. Trust that your actions are building a solid foundation for the future. Another key to sustaining growth is cultivating a mindset of gratitude. When you are grateful for what you have, it becomes easier to stay focused on your journey. Gratitude helps you recognize the progress you have made, even when it feels slow. It shifts your focus away from what you lack to what you already have. This shift in perspective can reignite your passion and keep you aligned with your path. Along the way, it is essential to surround yourself with people who support your growth. The Buddha said, "A friend who is a good companion, who encourages us on the path, is one of the greatest treasures." Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals can inspire you, motivate you, and remind you that you are not alone on this journey. But remember, your growth is ultimately your responsibility. Others can guide you, but it is up to you to take the steps. It is your life, and you must steer the ship. The practice of self-reflection is another powerful tool for sustaining growth. Regularly take time to reflect on your journey. What lessons have you learned? What habits are helping you, and which ones are hindering you? Reflection helps you gain clarity and stay focused on what truly matters. As you continue on your path, do not be afraid to adjust your course. The road to your best self may not be a straight line. There will be detours, unexpected turns, and bumps along the way. But each detour is an opportunity for growth. Be open to learning from every experience and be flexible in your approach. Sustaining growth also means embracing rest. Many people think that to grow, they must constantly be in motion. But rest is just as important as effort. The Buddha taught that rest is not laziness but a necessary part of the cycle of life. Just as the body needs sleep to recharge, your mind and spirit need moments of stillness to renew themselves. To stay aligned with your path, you must also learn to listen to yourself. Sometimes, the answers to your struggles lie within you. Take time to tune in to your inner voice, your intuition. Trust that you know what is best for you, even when the world around you may offer conflicting advice. Finally, sustaining growth requires an open heart. As you move forward, remember that the journey is not just about achieving goals. It is about the person you become along the way. Every challenge, every lesson, shapes you into a more compassionate, more resilient individual. Keep your heart open to the possibilities that come with growth, and embrace the journey with joy and gratitude. The path to your best self is not a destination but a process. It is a lifelong journey of learning, evolving, and becoming. And with each step, you move closer to your true potential. Stay aligned with your path, trust the process, and keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. Your best self is waiting for you. The journey ahead, final steps to your best self. The journey you have been on is like a river flowing toward the ocean. It has been filled with twists, turns, moments of stillness, and moments of rushing forward. As you approach the final steps, remember, this is not the end, but simply a new beginning. What have you learned so far? That becoming your best self is not about a destination. It's about the path. It's not about achieving perfection. It's about embracing progress. Every choice, every small habit, every moment of mindfulness has been part of this great journey. Now, as you stand at the threshold of a new year, remember that transformation is a continuous flow. The lessons you've learned will guide you, but your future is in your hands. But before we move forward, let's pause and reflect. Just like a gardener who steps back to admire the growth of their plants, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Have you made mistakes along the way? Yes. But remember, even mistakes are part of your growth. They are like the stones in the river that shape its course. Without them, the river would not be what it is. Every challenge has molded you into who you are today. Now, as you move into the new year, you will face new challenges. But with every challenge comes an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more in tune with your true self. In Buddhism, we are taught that life is full of impermanence. Nothing stays the same. So, when faced with difficulties, don't resist. Don't cling to the past. Instead, let go and flow with the changes. The more you accept change, the more you learn to live with peace. Remember, becoming your best self is not a race. It's a lifelong process. It's a commitment to living with intention, to being present in each moment, and to acting with compassion. Life will continue to unfold, but your response to it is what matters most. You can choose to meet each challenge with patience, wisdom, and kindness. The teachings of Buddhism emphasize the importance of the present moment. We are often caught up in worrying about the future or regretting the past. But the only time we truly have is now, this moment. So, as you continue on your path, let go of any attachment to how things should be. Instead, focus on how things are and how you can respond with mindfulness and clarity. In this moment, ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today to continue my growth? One small change, one small habit. It could be as simple as taking 5 minutes to meditate, or making a conscious decision to speak kindly to yourself. Whatever it is, know that this is the seed of your growth. Every small step matters. As you embrace 2025, don't think of it as a year filled with pressure to be perfect. Think of it as a year filled with opportunities to evolve. Every challenge, every change, every success, and every failure is part of the journey. But the most important thing is that you stay present. To become your best self, remember this. It's not about becoming someone you are not. It's about uncovering the truth of who you already are. You are already enough. The more you connect with your true nature, the more you realize that all the answers you seek are already within you. The Buddha taught us to walk the path with wisdom and compassion. Wisdom comes from seeing things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. Compassion comes from understanding the suffering of others and acting with kindness. If you can walk this path, you will not only become your best self, but also be a light for others. Now, let's take a moment to pause and think about how we can continue to grow in the coming year. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can do to deepen my mindfulness? To strengthen my compassion? To stay on my path of growth? Whatever your answer is, hold it in your heart as you step forward. You are the gardener of your own life. You are the one who decides what will grow and what will fade away. You have the power to cultivate habits, thoughts, and actions that align with your highest self. Just like a gardener patiently tends to their plants, you must patiently tend to your own growth. But remember, the key is to remain gentle with yourself. Don't push too hard. Don't be harsh or impatient. Growth takes time. It takes patience. It takes persistence. But every step forward is progress. Every moment of mindfulness, every act of kindness, and every choice to let go of negativity is a step in the right direction. So, as we close this final chapter, remember that the journey does not end here. It is ongoing. The next step is always waiting for you. And as you walk forward, carry with you the wisdom you have gained. Carry the understanding that you are enough. You have everything within you to become the best version of yourself. And don't forget, this path you are walking is not just for you. It is for others too. As you grow and transform, you will inspire those around you. Your actions, your words, your kindness will ripple out and touch the lives of others in ways you cannot yet imagine. As you step into 2025, may you walk with purpose. May you walk with mindfulness. And may you walk with compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. You deserve to become the best version of yourself, and now you have the tools, the wisdom, and the clarity to make it happen. This is your journey, and it starts now. With each new day, you have the power to shape your life, to shape your future, and to shape the person you are becoming. Thank you for being with us on this path. May your journey ahead be filled with peace, growth, and endless possibilities. Keep moving forward. Your best self is waiting.